Hey guys, hey, I'm back. Thought I'd wing another one here. We got some missing time on ISWA, about 3 hours. We got a few elevated solar wind speeds up in the 1100 kilometers per second range. But first, I thought I'd show you this. These are the representations of the ion ionospheric field aligned currents, electric potential, and the Joule heating, and showing the polar caps. So we got the northern hemisphere represented here, southern hemisphere on each of these simulations. So anyway, basically, the ionosphere is a region above the Earth between, I just went and looked this up to make sure, between 37 miles above the Earth to up to 620 miles above the Earth. So that includes most parts of the mesosphere and thermosphere and even the exosphere. And that's where, when I show you these electron volts that's producing this ionized radiation, this is at the 4 million electron volts and probably more, because I mean colors are all whacked out pastel again. So either they recalibrated or it's too high to really measure it correctly in the simulation parameters that they've set for this computer simulation. So at 100,000 electron volts, which is 100 keV, that's when atoms start being stripped of their ions and they become ionized. And this is radiation above X-ray level. And when it gets between, I think it's, well, actually the gamma radiation could start at 100,000. Well, when you're up around 4 million or higher, that's like star level supernova type gamma radiation being produced. And this is all showing up all around the planet. But thankfully, our atmosphere pretty much protects us from all that radiation. And it's pretty much confined to the region of between 37 miles above the Earth and 620 miles to 1,000 kilometers, which is 620 miles. So anyway, I just thought I'd pull this up for you. I ran it through the last 300 frames and 8 frames per second. Got them both synced. You can see that we got a whole lot of magnetic instability or electron volt instability. And of course, magnetics is all tied to electricity. We live in an electromagnetic universe. There's no such thing as dark matter. I don't have time to get into that, but from what research I did on that, there's no dark matter. We're an electromagnetic universe with plasma. Plasma. I think plasma might be the dark energy, so-called dark energy that they're trying to say exists. Well, I don't know. I think it's all BS just to throw people off, in my honest opinion. But we're not even going to go there because I'm not a scientist. But from what little research I did on it, I learned enough to conclude decisively in my mind, and I can show you the links if you want to. At some other point, put a comment in the section and I'll produce you the links to a couple of short vids on it. that we live in an electromagnetic plasma universe, and this guy just did a simple laboratory experiment to prove it. So there you go on the electric potential within the ionosphere. You can see it's getting pretty chaotic, pretty chaotic. So it goes back pretty like early November and running up pretty much to current time. Here's the latest run on ISWA. These two are synced, these Fock radiation belt electrons. And I've been trying to pull up those L shells, but ever since November 8th, they're pretty much down. They might give you a couple of frames, 1 or 2 frames per day, starting around the 20th, 22nd, I think it is, around there. But I mean, regardless, I don't think it's that important because that radiation's not reaching the surface, but it's all around the planet, to be for sure. All right, we have some, here's the solar wind speed. It's being measured by these GOES 13 and 14 and 15 satellites that's in here, and maybe some other ones that I'm not aware of. But anyway, that's where we're getting all these data from to run these simulations. So you'll notice up here we're gonna have a little bit of I think it went up to 1100 here in a second. Just keep watching these numbers. And I want you to focus on these waves of density and pressure coming from the sun side. And I'm going to show you, this is the latest Discover run, last 24 hours. And you can see the solar wind speed's pretty constant, right around 350. No fluctuations. Same with the density. Density actually went down. So even with this low solar wind speed, the density's down. So either that big planet's pretty much blocking everything that's coming from Nemesis, the big planet I'm talking about in front of the Earth that passed ACE on October 16th with a 9-hour gap, and then started showing up with an 8-9 hour gap between the Earth and this ACE satellite. And now you can tell it's for sure getting close to Earth by what I've been showing you on the magnetic interplanetary magnetic field lines piling up in front of the planet and so forth. Here you see those little field lines all broke apart. There's a whole bunch of them because you can see like a bunch of hairs there, it looks like. But anyway, so, and here's the phi angle. So you can see we've pretty much been running a constant connection with something behind the Earth, a solar body behind the Earth, because everything above 180 indicates a connection above the Earth. I showed you that on the Solar Ham Space Weather tutorial. Here it is here. 0 to 180 is Earth to Sun connection, and 180 to 0 is a Earth to Sun, 180 is a Sun to the Earth. There's nothing here talking about anything beyond that. Here's ACE last 7 days, just so you can see, pretty much had a steady connection. Well, I wouldn't say steady, but we've had a connection, and it's been very chaotic between Nemesis and the Earth. It's everything above 180. You can see there's very little. There was some time here where I think the relative position of that big planet in front of the Earth was closer to the Sun, and the Earth and far enough away from Nemesis that it was encouraging a connection between the Earth and the Sun for a few days there. I think it happened a few days before that too. Maybe it happened 4 or 5 days, if I recall. But then after that, it's gotten close enough to the Earth, I believe, that now any connections made with the Sun are from Nemesis, or from the Earth to the Sun, or from Nemesis through the Earth, through this big planet. That's my interpretation anyway. But as you can see, it still happens every once in a while. Dips below 180, but mostly it's staying above. And here's the L1 Lagrange point. That's where the ACE and the Discover satellites reside. So as you can see, solar wind speed's down, density's down. So where are all these spikes coming from? These waves of energy. And you can see all the blue interplanetary magnetic field lines piling up. They're coming from this big planet. And then when you get the gaps in here, you can see how dark these polar cap field lines get. I think you're gaining energy from this planet. Or the Earth and this planet are swapping magnetic energy. Okay, real quick, I'll show you the missing time. And it starts around, there it is, 12:24. And the solar wind speed's not, I mean, it's high, but not incredible. So there it is, 12:20, 12:40 to 15:20. So it's almost 3 hours. Then we'll pull this through. We had there's a little bit elevated solar wind there, 1100, 1165. Started out at 808, but it was a short duration. So I'm not sure why that would be. I don't necessarily think that's my hypothesis number two with the connection to a coronal hole for Nemesis. I think it's just simply all the energy building up around the planet, and then every once in a while when we expel all that plasma, which is all that blue stuff, when all that plasma gets expelled, it elevates the solar wind. So we'll watch this here. These are the black polar cap field lines that normally stream away. They get balled up and closed when they reconnect back to the Earth in order to garner energy, in order to push these to push the plasma away from the planet. You can see there's one there, one there. There's the plasma streaming away. But watch all this stuff coming from the sun side. You know it's not coming from the sun. Look at those squiggly lines. Okay, I'm getting to the 13-minute mark here. What else was I going to show you? Oh yeah, well, getting back with the ionosphere, this is where the Schumann resonance comes in. This measures frequency, Hertz frequencies within the ionosphere. So as you can see, the Schumann resonance is maxed out today. Not looking good. This is the latest run on that geospace model. It's the same deal. It's the data from ISWA. It's just different form. They got this Earth and the Sun reversed, the Sun side reversed on the Earth. So you can see that, and here's the Earth radii. So you can see the magnetopause is being pushed way out to about 16 Earth radii. Normal is 10. That's to keep that big planet at bay that's in front of us. Look at all these density waves coming through. And as I showed you on Discover, there's no density variations like that coming from the sun. Watch them come through one more time. They're a little easier to see on here. So so there they be there, those little hair-like looking things. Sometimes they're pointing down, sometimes they're pointing up. Those are interplanetary magnetic field lines from that big planet. I'm convinced of it. Okay, this is my yesterday's vid. I just wanted to point out that I got all these resources under here that you can access. These are all great links. Here's the Solar Ham Space Weather tutorial. I encourage you to open that. And so I'm out of time. God bless, peace, and I'm out.